Hi, Animation. We're back. All right. Today we're going to actually work with one specific tool, and we're just going to kind of play with that today. You're going to have some time to work with it, and it's actually a tool I'm not really proficient in. I mean, I'm okay with it, but the idea here is that there are some tools in Animate, in Illustrator, and in Photoshop that they tend to do the same thing over all the applications. So if you know how to use the pen tool in Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign, you're going to be really good at using the pen tool in Animate because it's the same thing. Now, the pen tool is a really interesting tool in that some people are naturally good at it from the very first time. Some of you that are going through this tutorial, you're going to be a lot better than I am just with this first introduction of the pen tool. But others are going to have to practice. It is a skill that you practice, you can get better at. But it's just the way it's designed. Some people tend to gravitate towards that better than others. But we can all get better at it. It doesn't matter if you're super. It comes to you naturally, or you have to work at it. Just because it may be a little difficult, just keep working at it, and you'll build a skill. I mean, I struggle with it, but I also see the value in it. Okay, because especially when we're working with shapes that are not the typical square or circle or oval, and you want custom shapes or you want custom, I guess, custom art to a certain degree, but you want it to be more of in the digital realm, and this pen tool is quite useful. And as a matter of fact, most professionals in graphic design, they really use the pen tool to a really great degree. So I'm going to go ahead and let's start this tutorial. So make sure that you've opened it up. You're here. Now, to get the size of the screen, we're not going to blow it up like we have been before. I'm actually going to go ahead and just go to 300. See if that works. That's a little bit too much. Let's go to 275. Okay, 275%. That's a little too much even. Let's go to 250. Nope. Actually, let's go ahead and just stick with 200. The reason why we have to stick with 200, because today's assignment, we want to see the whole stage. We want to see outside of the stage, because we're going to be creating a wave, right, over the entire stage, so that you can actually understand, or actually you can actually use it. We'll use the pen tool and it'll make more sense in a minute, right? But we just need the side. We need the wings, or the place outside the stage. So the first thing I want to do, is I want to make sure that we change the background of this. Instead of it being white, let's go ahead and go to our stage. And again, we just click over here on this side. Okay. And you see it. I'm clicking around so you can see where it's at. And we're going to there's a number we're going to go ahead and change that stage to. And we're going to change that stage to a different color of brown. Okay, hold on. Right. And that number is going to be, and this is the hex code, so you all know how to do this. We've been doing this quite a bit. This one's going to be CC9966. All right. CC9966. And that it's this little tan color here. And you hit enter or return. And there we go. That actually feels a lot better on my eyes. I'll be honest with you. That white was really kind of assaulting my irises, right? My retina, burning my retinas. So we've got this tan color now. All right. So we're going to actually use the pen tool, right? So before we do that, I wanted to bring your attention down here. All right. We have two layers so far. We have the aroma layer and we have the coffee layer, right? Obviously, if you drag the aroma layer underneath the coffee layer, do you notice that it actually moves the aroma to the back of the cup? So again, think of this as a physical thing. If these are pieces, which they're layers, and you layer one on top of the other, it's actually giving you the visual representation of what's on top. And again, for some of you, that's a refresher. But some people, I've noticed when I was walking around that they still don't get that concept. So make sure that your coffee cup's at the bottom and you got a coffee aroma on top. But we're going to add another layer, right? This is a layer that we're going to call dark brown wave. So what we're going to do here is we are going to go to the choose insert up here, right? Again, I'll go ahead and insert. All right. And animate, we're going to go, insert, timeline, and then a layer. All right. So again, insert, and then timeline, and then a new layer. Boom. And the layer pops up down here. You could also just hit this little plus sign right here and it'll give you a new layer. So if you want to just, again, I have to show you multiple times because on the test, they may ask you and you may be trying to do it the one way, but just remember there are multiple ways to get around this Animate project. So we're here in the layer one, all right? And so we're going to double click that and we're going to rename this dark underscore. Remember, it's going to give us that error if we don't put that underscore. Brown underscore wave. Dark brown wave, right? And if you can't see it, it just says dark brown. Again, look what I'm doing. I'm changing. All I'm doing right here is I'm going right at the edge and I'm pulling it out just so I can see the whole name of my layers. And if you can't see all your layers are buried, again, just go to the edge of the lip of your timeline and you can actually make it bigger or smaller. You can move those around just to get more comfortable. As we start adding layers, you may want the timeline a little bit taller. I made it taller so I could see all my layers perfectly. All right. Now what we want to do here is with this layer, what we're going to create, I want it in the background. So if I want the aroma and the cup to be in front of this new thing that I'm going to make, which is going to be the wave, I'm going to have to drag it to the bottom. All right. So now everything that I do is going to be at the bottom. And if you, I've locked my coffee cup, but I haven't locked my coffee aroma, so I can still mess with it by accident. And you don't want to mess with it. So just go ahead and lock it. Okay. Is it unlock? Lock. You see that? Unlock, lock. So we're going to lock that layer. So now, if even if I have the selection tool, I can't even select it because it's locked. So now these are protected. Our work is protected. And right now would be a good time to press Command S or Control S at home so that you can save your progress. All right. So now we have our cool stage at 200%. We have our new layer, and we've named it Dark Brown Wave, right? The back of the stage, we've colored it. So we've done a couple of things here already, all right? And we want to make sure that we're going to now just focus on the pen tool, right? And we're going to be drawing a shape with the pen tool. Again, I don't want you guys to get frustrated. I'm going to give you lots of time, and I'll probably ask you to pause this video, and I will pause it in class so that you can practice with it and you can mess with it, because this is something that I feel very strongly that that it's going to benefit you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the pen tool, and the pen tool looks like this, right? You see it, it's right here. And I'll try to magnify this real big so you can see the icon, right? The pen tool is here, and so as soon as we hit the pen tool, we know that over on the properties panel on the far right, if you follow my cursor, you're going to see now it changed the pen tool. Now we have all of these colors and style parameters that we can change, and we're going to change them. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is on the stroke, I want to pick another color. Instead of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I want another dark brown color, right? And I'm going to choose this color here called walnut brown. And walnut brown, for those of you, you want to write this down or type it in somewhere, 5D432C. Okay? Hopefully you can see that right there. Try to make sure that that's magnified really nice. All right, so that's the walnut brown. Apparently that's the darkest brown you can get. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in my pen stroke here. I'm going to click on my color swatches, and I'm going to go to the hex code, and I'm going to type in 5D432 and then the letter C. Boom. And hit enter. So I got a dark brown. Now, I will tell you something right off the bat. my aroma color is going to be very similar to this. So what I'm probably going to have to go back to doing, and I'm not going to do this until probably after the next lesson, after I'm starting to fine tune things, I'm probably going to change the color a little bit, right? So they can be different from the backstroke that we're going to create. Yours may be the same thing. Don't worry about that too much. We are going to go back and adjust little things here and there. All right, so let's get started. We've got this color, this walnut brown, and again, and I'll pull this out again, the color is 5D432C. Again, 5D432C. All right, so we've got that all situated. Now, the next thing you need to do is we're going to look at our alpha. It should be all the way up at 100%, which it is. Hopefully yours is too. We're going to keep the stroke size the same as a 1, right? And you're going to the style, which is this next part here. We're going to go with one that says hairline. Right now, yours may say solid, which is the second one. We want to go up one. We want to go with the thinnest line possible. So it's going to say hairline. So we're going to click that. Okay. Right in style, we're going to go with the hairline. And then for the width, we're going to keep it there where it's at. So it should say uniform. And you should have that little graphic with just a big rectangle, white rectangle with a yellow line across. All right. So that's going to be our width, right? And so everything else should be normal. All right. And so now we are going to play with the pen tool. And what I'm going to show you here is I'm going to grab where the pen tool is all set up. Okay. And double check down here to make sure that your dark brown wave, all right, I'll click right here real quick. Your dark brown wave is selected. Okay. Make sure that your dark brown wave is selected here and your pen tool is selected here. Okay. Because you don't want to be, and not that you can because we locked them out, but we don't want to be actually drawing on a different layer. So just double check that. Okay. So now what we're going to do here, and this is why you needed to see the whole stage. We're going to click a point here. We're just going to click one click. Boom. It's going to drop what we call an anchor point. And the anchor points are what make the pen tool work. It's the bones, the structure of anchor points. So from that anchor point, okay, from this anchor point, you're going to follow your pen tool and you're going to kind of, you're going to move your pen tool in the direction you want the line to go. Now, this is an imaginary line that you're creating. You're just actually going to, so here's my point. I want my line to go right across this way, right? Right. I kind of wanted to make a little bend, so I kind of pretend I'm drawing it. Boom. And then I'm going to click and hold. Don't release it. You do one click and you hold the button. Okay. You hold that click. So don't release your finger. So I'm going to click and hold. I just clicked it and my finger's on it. And what I'm going to do here is now I'm going to drag the pen tool in the direction where I want it to go. So I want to go down a little bit. So you see? So that's the direction I want to go. Boom. And then I let it go. And then I move over in that direction just a little bit. Then I click again and click and hold. And it gives me another point. And then I want to start going back up. Boom. So, but look at where my line is at. I'm going to have to go kind of across, but I want to go a little bit up. There we go. I want to start going up. So again, the key here is that you're actually going to pretend to draw the movements as you drop in these anchor points, right? So again, this line gives you a clue of what way you need to go to the next anchor point. Boom. See, it's moving this way. So I'm going here. And I kind of want to go up just a little bit more. Well, actually, maybe, you know what? I want to go down a little bit. Boom. And then I'm going to go here. Right. I'm looking to create a wave. And you guys can hold on. Just watch me for a second as I'm doing this. Don't necessarily have to do this. I'm gonna pause this in class, and those of you can pause this afterwards so you can really practice with this, right? By the way, this is the only thing we're doing today in class. I want you to practice the pen tool. That's going to be the whole lesson, right? So I'm going to move up here. I'm going to move here. I'm going to move here. I'll move there. But I think I messed up, so I'm going to see if I can undo here. Undo one. Control Z is what or Command Z or Control Z at home. There's another one. There's another one. And then outside. There you go. So here's like this wave movement, right? Then I'm going to click down here, and I kind of wanted this big arch underneath it. That's not so wavy. So I'm going to click down here. Boom. And then I'm going to come up here. Click and hold. Let me climb. Click and hold. Click and hold. Click and hold. Give me. I'm going to start falling. Click and hold. Click and hold. That one's kind of wonky. Let me undo this. Again, that's kind of wrong. You see this line? I have to follow it. So even to get it kind of smooth. And again, dragging it wider or lower, it does wacky things. So make sure with these handles that you kind of I'll leave it there. There's ways to fix this up a little bit. Actually, let me undo that. I'm gonna have to probably undo one more. There you go. Okay. And again, and when you're finished, so I just drew it around. I went off of the stage and I came right underneath. And now I'm going to close up this shape by clicking on the first anchor point. Boom. Now what I did is I just completely made a new shape. And this is how you make unique shapes. Okay. So right now is it going to be a really good time to pause this video. And in class, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes. I'm going to give you quite amount of time so you can actually do this on your own project, because of course you're not going to be able to do it this fast. Some of you probably already did this and blowing me away, obviously. But for a lot of us, we're going to have to practice with this. And I'm going to give you some practice time. Then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to fill this and actually make it into a usable shape, and how you can actually do little tweaks to that once it's already done if you're not happy completely with it. Okay, so go ahead and make a wave of your own. It's up to you. Again, this is an artistic thing, so yours is going to look different than mine. And then we'll come back and I'll give you some more instruction on it. All right. All right. Well, I'm coming back. Hopefully there was like a cool transition that I made and maybe a little cool sound. I don't know if I'll be able to do that in the editing, but you should have this. And right now would be a great time to go ahead and come up to Adobe Animate and hit File Save or Command S, because you want to make sure that you save this and you're not messing with it. All right. So now we have our whole shape, and we've closed that shape again by clicking the last anchor point. We still have our pen tool, which is not something we want. For the next tool that we're going to use, we want to fill this shape in, and we want to go to our paint bucket tool, our good old paint bucket tool down here. And of course, it looks like a paint bucket tipped over. We're going to click that, and as soon as you click off that tool and you click another tool in your paint bucket, you can see that there's that hairline, little line that you've created. All right. Now for this, we're going to pick a dark brown, and the dark brown that I want you to actually create or use is the same dark brown that we have been using for the for the pen tool that we just used. All right. So it should already be selected. If it's not, go ahead and make sure you select it, right? 5D432C, right? We have it there. So now my pen tool is, my bucket tool is loaded with that brown. So all you got to do is just click inside the shape and boom, it turns it all into brown. There's our shape. And that looks pretty cool, right? So now we have a cool brown background, right? Again, don't worry about making all the curves perfect, right? It takes practice to get good with the pen tool, okay? And yes, it might be a little frustrating at first, but it's a super valuable tool. But if you notice, there's some things that aren't as smooth as I want them to be, right? And so what we can do is we can actually start editing things after we use the pen tool, right? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually go to our selection tool up here, or you can just click V. Boom, I just click V, right? Or you can click up here. And remember how we made this bulge on our cup? If we just hover close, you're going to see that little smiley face, right? And that lets us adjust curves. So there you go. See what I'm adjusting there? I'm making it a little more smooth. And now I can fine tune this a little more so that it's not so choppy. There you go. So now it's nice and smooth. Look what I'm doing. All right. So this helps you smooth out things a little more. Oops. Let me undo that. Again, I'll click off the stage. If that happens to you, just click off the stage to deselect it. And that happened because I was working too fast. I didn't wait for the smiley face. I still had the crosshairs, right? So I'll wait for the smiley face and then I move it. Oh, I messed this up big time. Command Z. Command Z is your friend. I'm going to have to go down a little bit. There we go. And over here. That looks good. I like that. This one looks just still a little choppy. This needs a little bulge out here. There we go. I like that. Again, play around with this. I'll smooth this part out. It's like Mr. Juarez, you gotta be cool with it. So that looks smoother to me. All right. So again, you can use it that way. Another way that you can actually edit your shape after you've created it is you can use a sub selection tool. So it's up here by the selection tool, but you got to hold that down. It's one of the things that are underneath. It's called the sub selection tool. It's underneath the selection tool, so you'll click that. And the two difference is the triangle shape. When you're using the regular selection tool, it's basically has no fill. It's hollow. It's just the outline. When you click the sub selection tool, it has a fill, so it's a solid white triangle. All right. So if you do that and you click on the edge, then you can see all of your anchor points, right? And with these anchor points, now the sub-selection tool, you can actually start grabbing an anchor point and start moving it around and kind of customizing it, right? I'm going to undo that because I really didn't want to do that. So you can actually really kind of, again, alter what you've already created. And I kind of like what I'm doing here, so I'm not going to do this too much. Maybe I'll make a curve right there. That one looked kind of weird. So, and of course that's in the background. And if I want to really focus on it, I can poke the eyes out of my coffee aroma, right? So it can kind of hide it all. So again, that's how you can really manipulate all of your different anchor points in Animate for your shape. All right. And so I'm only got a couple of things I want to show you right now with this, and then I'm going to give you the rest of the class period to play with it, and then when you're done, you are done with this particular part. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look. We have all these anchor points here, and I want to bring your attention back to the pen tool over here on the left-hand side in the toolbar, all right, in your tool panel. The pen tool, if you click and hold, there's 3 other tools besides the pen tool, and it's add an anchor point, delete an anchor point, or convert an anchor point tool. Right now, for today's lesson, all I want to do is delete, for this first part, delete an anchor point. So if I see that there's something that's really throwing me off somewhere, let me see this one right here. I'll click that and it deletes it. You see that? And so I want this a little more smoother, and I'll delete that one. So now that's more like it's a smoother line, right? So there's some that I wanted to delete, and I knew I was going to, right? And maybe I want this one I want gone, boom. Or maybe not. That one makes it more like a straight line. Maybe no, I think I'm okay there. So you can delete anchor points using the delete anchor point tool. Okay. And of course, if you want to add an anchor point, you can add an anchor point there. And if I wanted to add an anchor point somewhere, let's just say I'll do it off because I'm pretty happy with that. You can add an anchor point there, and you can kind of mess with that a little bit. See, I'll add one over here, not because nobody can see it, and I won't mess anything up. Boom. All right, so those are some things that you can do with the pen tool. I mean, it really is in depth, and you really does take a lot of practice to master this pen tool. More time than I have in here. And again, if you're a professional, my best friend is a graphic designer, and he uses the pen tool almost exclusively to create his work. Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and click the regular selection tool. Right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and undo the eyeballs for the aroma and the coffee. And I'm going to let you guys mess with this for today. I'm going to let you guys play with the pen tool. I want you to get comfortable with it. Again, once we start using the tablets, that's going to be something that you might want to use. All right. Until tomorrow, this is Mr. Juarez saying over and out. Good job, guys. Proud of you.